G'day friends, we all have a story, I believe, that's worth sharing, but I've never really taken the time to explain why I place the value of your story as highly as I do. And so I wanted to share a few thoughts with you that just sort of fill in the bigger picture for me, my worldview, what really motivates me, and what I've seen in the decades that I've been a nightly news reporter and now as a global C-suite coach. What have I actually seen of the world and what's formed my view? And I've actually come to see that every single person on this planet is made in the image of God. God has put a story in all of us, and not just one story, or not just one short story. So it's not just your 15 minutes of fame, and once that story's been told, then that's kind of it. Every day, our lives are an evolving story that will echo into eternity. The choices we make now, the way we live out this story, this purpose, this calling, it matters. And when we don't tell our story, when we hide it, we're actually limiting our impact and our reach and what we can achieve. And that's why it's so important that we all invest in telling our story well. And that's what I think is really at the heart and the essence of a personal brand. It's not just about what you do, but it's about what inspires, motivates, drives you, the life that you live. And it's about allowing everything in your life to be blended together in a way that you actually share it openly with others. It's very exciting. This hasn't always been my view. And to be clear, I've settled on an understanding of the life of Jesus as being historically reliable and accurate, as all of the evidence from scriptures that help us to understand that he did in fact rise from the dead and is now as a resurrected body ruling from heaven. What an extraordinary set of ideas. How did it come to this? How did a seasoned, hardened journalist, decades as a nightly news reporter, come to form this view? And let me tell you, I wasn't raised this way. This wasn't the way I was brought up. In fact, as a teenager, I was given a Bible, and this Bible was heavily vandalized. It was scribbled in, it was torn apart, it was ripped up. I completely and thoroughly turned my back on any concept of Christianity being valuable or worthwhile. And it wasn't until really in my early 20s, late teens, when a friend invited me to hear some talks and some rigorous thinking around Christianity, that I started to read the Bible with a critical eye for myself and not turn my back on it anymore. And look, I'm not sharing this story with you now either. I just want to say, to try and persuade you to become Christian. I want to encourage you to see this is why I value your story so highly, why I see it as vital, and also what informs me as your storyteller coach, and where my thinking comes from. It's helpful for me to be upfront about that with everybody. And I'm certainly really excited about it because I'm driven by Jesus' vision for the world. He says we shouldn't be hiding our light under a bushel or a bowl or anything. We should be letting it be seen by others to really increase our impact on the planet. This is what drives me to serve you as a coach, to help you to see the value of your story, and whoever you are on the planet, wherever you come from, whatever your worldview is. This is an approach to storytelling, personal branding that will work for you, that will help you to amplify your impact on the planet, to have greater disproportional impact just by sharing the story, sharing what it is that you're doing, what's driving you, what motivates and inspires you to do what you do. So how is it that I came to accept this? I mean, really, other people have walked this path well and truly thoroughly ahead of me. And in fact, I think it was Josh McDowell who wrote a book, Evidence That Demands a Verdict. He was, in fact, a crime reporter himself in North America. And quite a few years before I went down this path, he also actually set out to try and disprove Christianity and realized that it all came down to the resurrection of Jesus. Not that Jesus existed, not that he died, was executed on the cross. There's very few people on the planet who would disagree with that. Certainly Christians, Muslims, people of Jewish faith, all accept that Jesus was a real person who lived, breathed, walked on the planet. I think even atheist historians would not disagree that he existed and was executed by the Romans at the time. And it really all comes down to, there's some conjecture, did he actually die? The Romans were very good at executing people, and certainly medically, when people look at the accounts of what happened to Jesus' body as he was dying on the cross, you would have to argue, there is good evidence there to say that he did die on the cross. But it's what happened next. Only Christians believe that he rose again from the dead and is now ruling. Why was his death so important? Why did it matter? And to understand that, why did God allow Jesus to be executed if Jesus was God? Well, that's the category of sin that we see in the world. And friends, it doesn't take too much of a stretch to imagine a nightly news reporter, particularly in the realms of the crime round, how much I got to see the brokenness of this world, the beauty of it, as well as the brokenness of it. And there is no possible scenario that I can conceive that this world and that you were not created by God. And I want to encourage you that God has put eternity in your heart. He's put your story in your heart. He's given you a purpose and a calling. And so, friends, look, I'd love to talk with you at some point about this if it's of interest to you. Jesus warns us about how important it is to get this right, to process it for ourselves. But that might be a conversation for us to have another day. What I do want to inspire you and excite you with right now is that your purpose in life is a calling that comes from none other than the God of the universe, and that you are made in his image, and that your story has infinite value because of who he has made you to be. Friends, I want to help you to unlock that story. I want to help you to elevate your purpose and your calling in life by amplifying your personal brand, by sharing it and putting it out there. There is like, we've spent such a long period of time up until now thinking that our work speaks for itself, that just what we do is what matters so much, but it is actually who you are. That idea of we need to just be first, then do things, and then have, not do so that we can be and then have things. We often get the order wrong in life, and it's all about, I think, just being who we've been created to be, seeing the value of that, recognizing who we've been made to be, and living out that purpose. So friends, as your global storyteller coach, media training, personal brand coach, this is what it all comes down to. Your story is not just a nice to have. It's not just a fun bit of fluff. It's not a bit of vacuous content. Whether your calling is to help people in the areas of finance, in the area of law, in construction, in landscaping, in cleaning, in accounting, whatever it is, your calling in life, the contribution that you make on this planet is so valuable, and you have the story in you. It's not just one story, it's an evolving story that happens every day. And so to align your story with your purpose, your calling, watch out. That's where the real magic will happen in your life. Let's talk about how our coaching can help you to achieve so much more with your life. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this explanation. It's kind of filling in some missing pieces, why it is that I'm so driven to help people share their stories.